They call La Palma La Isla Bonita. Honestly, that sells it short. This is the most aggressive island in the Atlantic. It's not just steep, it's a 7,000 metre vertical wall shooting straight out of the ocean floor. This is the 7th Canary island I've visited, and it makes the others look soft. If you want to see where the earth is still tearing itself apart, welcome to La Palma. I started down south in the main town of Los Canarios, which sits in the region of Fuencaliente. When you put the drone up here, the landscape looks absolutely scorched, more like the surface of Mars than a holiday island. This black wasteland is actually an agricultural gold mine. The locals grow the famous Malvasía grapes right in this volcanic ash. It produces a sweet vine that was historically so good, Shakespeare even wrote about it. Just outside the town sits the San Antonio volcano, and you can actually walk around the rim, though the wind up there is pretty relentless. Before 1677, the area was the richest per capita in the Spanish territory. It was famous for a holy fountain, a hot spring that cured everything from leprosy to syphilis, and that's actually why the region is called Fuencaliente. It translates to hot spring. Then this volcano erupted, and the lava buried the spring forever. The economy collapsed overnight. Moving forward to 1971, and the earth started moving again. The warning signs were pretty cinematic. The tremors were so violent that the church bells in the town rang by themselves. When the Tenerife volcano finally burst, the lava headed straight for the coast, threatening the salinas, these salt pans. The workers refused to leave during the eruption. They stayed behind, shoveling ash off the white salt while the lava crept closer. The flow eventually stopped just meters away.
It's a pretty active island. Hopefully there's not one whilst I'm here.
It wasn't all destruction though. That eruption added 29 hectares of new land to this island. A reminder that La Palma isn't finished yet.
So it's quite cool to think that within our lifetime, well, not my lifetime actually, in some people's lifetimes who are older than me, but are still alive just now, if you were here, this would all look quite different. Behind me, down here, you've got a beach called Playa Nueva, which I'm guessing was created by the lava flow. Now it's like 50 years old, but in the grand scheme of beaches, I guess it's still pretty new.
Heading north, and the timeline jumps forward 50 years. You leave the 1971 eruption zone and head straight into the fresh wreckage from 2021.
So this here, the newest volcano in La Palma, Tajogaite, little baby volcano.
Back in 2021, the world watched as it erupted for 85 days, swallowing 3,000 buildings and redrawing the map. It's wild to think that a few years ago, that peak didn't exist at all. Down towards the coast, this looks like your perfect holiday resort town, but for years after the eruption, it was a complete ghost town. The lava didn't reach here, but the area was poisoned by CO2 gas seeping from the ground. It's been a real struggle to get it back open again. I think this might be the most resilient beach town in the Canaries. If you want something quieter, the next bay is Charco Verde. It's a bit of an antidote to all the drama. no hotels, no CO2 monitors, just a perfect little bay where the locals can go to forget about the volcanoes for a while.
Leave the black sand behind and you enter this maze. You drive past miles of these concrete walls protecting the island's green gold. From the street you can't really see much, but from above it's an absolute ocean of green. Here's a travel tip for you. Eat these bananas. Seriously, they're really good. Not like the bland ones you'll buy at home. The Plátano de Canarias are smaller, sweeter, and the locals are obsessed with them for a good reason. Technically, it should be impossible for these banana plants to grow here. It's dry, scorched rock. But the locals have engineered a way to capture cloud water from the peaks and pipe it all the way down here. Industrial, chaotic, and surprisingly beautiful. Eventually, the banana jungle gives way to civilization. This is Tazacorte, rising straight out of the agricultural ocean of green, split into two distinct levels by the cliffs, the Pueblo, up on the hill, and the Puerto, down by the water. The location here is perfect, only about 45 minutes drive from the airport. The town is completely surrounded by banana plantations. There's even a small one in the centre of the town. Its name comes from Tazo, the Guanche leader who ruled this territory before the Spanish arrived. For me, this is the best area on the island to stay, and this is where I based myself for all my time here. I stayed up in the Pueblo, and if you want an authentic vibe, this is the place to be. You won't find many hotels here, but on Airbnb you'll find some beautiful, authentic Canarian houses. Just under 5,000 people live here. It doesn't feel like a resort, it feels like a real Canarian town. You spend your time walking the narrow stone streets and checking out places like the Plaza de España and the Iglesia de San Miguel. Or having a drink on one of the bars on the promenade, looking out over the banana plantations and out to the sea. The vibe's colourful, authentic, feels like a place where people actually live. When you want the water, just drop down the cliff to the Puerto. This is a pretty significant spot in history as well. It's where the Spanish conquistadors first landed in 1492. Today, it's famous for a different reason: the climate. The massive valley walls act like a shield against the clouds, giving this spot over 3,500 hours of sunshine a year, making it one of the sunniest places in Europe. The beach is huge, the black sand is warm, sometimes too warm, and after the chaos of the volcanoes, it's the perfect place to chill out. Leaving Tazacorte, the road climbs the cliff face to Mirador El Time, and no, it doesn't have anything to do with clocks. Time is a Guanche word meaning high cliff. For centuries, it was an obstacle. Locals had to climb this sheer rock face carrying heavy loads just to get supplies from the port to the northern villages of the island. A slight detour off the main road takes you to Porís de Candelaria. The drive down is pretty intense. The road spirals down the inside of an ancient cliff face, often known locally as Pirates Bay, but its real history is about survival. In a landscape this steep, the ocean was the only real highway, so locals built this entire village inside a sea cave to trade goods that they couldn't haul up the cliffs. Seen from the air, the scale is pretty cool. It looks like a movie set, but people actually live here in the summer. The massive rock overhang acts as natural air conditioning, keeping the whitewashed houses cool even when the sun is blasting off the Atlantic. Back on the main road, the drive becomes a lesson in violent geology. I stopped at Mirador Barranco de Garome to look at the scars. This ravine is so deep, it creates its own microclimate. You're looking at millions of years of water erosion slicing through the solid rock. These ravines are exactly why the north remained isolated for so long. Before this highway was carved out of the rock, every trip between villages was basically a mountaineering expedition. Further north, at Mirador de los Dragos, you'll find the island's most famous myth, the dragon tree. These weird umbrella-shaped plants are living fossils. The indigenous Guanche people believed these trees were divine because when they cut the bark, the trees bleed a thick red sap known as dragon's blood, which they then used for healing and even mummification. Seeing them hanging wild off the canyon walls here is about as Jurassic as this island gets. The road ends at the roof of the island, 2,400 metres up. These telescopes are here because of the sky law. La Palma was the first place in the world to legally protect its night sky from light pollution, effectively turning this peak into a global nature reserve for astronomers. This is the single largest optical telescope on the planet. It's basically a giant eye that can see things 4 billion times better than you can. Then you have these things, the LSTs. Kind of like giant disco balls, but they're actually hunting for gamma rays. These mirrors are watching for the biggest, most violent explosions in the universe. This one is Galileo. Looks a bit like R2-D2. It was actually the telescope used to find the first rocky, Earth-like planet orbiting another star. But the best view doesn't require a telescope. You're walking right on the edge of the Caldera de Taburiente. A massive collapsed volcano bowl that drops down 1.5 kilometers. The mountains on the ridge there are trapping the clouds coming in from the ocean, and they spill over the ridge like slow motion water, vanishing as they hit the dry air inside the crater. This is, I think, hands down, the best view in the Canaries. So to get here from where I'm standing on the other side of the island, Tazacorte, you have to go through this big tunnel that basically cuts through the main central mountain range in the island. And over that side, in the south, this morning, it is blistering sunshine, clear blue sky. I mean, yesterday afternoon it was so hot. You go in the tunnel and that, you come out and you see the clouds. La Palma, like the rest of the mountainous Canary Islands, is really affected by the trade winds, and the mountains gather all the clouds up, store all the moisture up on this side of the island. Santa Cruz itself feels kind of majestic. The main street is lined with historic mansions. It was once the third most important port in the Spanish Empire, and you can kind of get that old money feel. The heart of it is Plaza de España. The guidebooks will tell you this is the best Renaissance square in the Canaries. Is it? It's definitely historic. Everything here is original 16th century, but honestly, it's just a nice place to grab a coffee. Don't expect to be blown away, just enjoy hanging out here. If you walk towards the ocean, you'll find the famous balconies. These are a symbol of the city. But the funny thing is, these used to be the back of the houses. Before the promenade was built here, the ocean washed right up against these walls. So these beautiful, intricate balconies were originally built for ventilation and as latrines. So when you look at these gorgeous wooden carvings, remember, they were originally really fancy toilets dropping waste straight into the beach. Okay, coffee. You're lucky because you're getting your coffee out of a vending machine. I consider that to be unlucky. See, the waterfront area is a little bit underwhelming. It's not the prettiest. No, there are some palm trees lining it, but it feels quite concretey. There is a beach here, and it's green flagged. The water looks pretty calm. It's actually quite a decent beach. Further up at Plaza de la Alameda, past the statue of Eano, the dwarf, a figure from the island's most famous festival, you'll find a full-size wooden ship on dry land. This is the Barco de la Virgin. It looks like a movie prop, but it's actually a naval museum built to look like Columbus's Santa Maria. It's quirky, unexpected, and very Santa Cruz. Santa Cruz is pretty historic, there's lots of culture here, but would I base myself in the town? Probably not. I prefer the guaranteed sun of the west. However, if you're visiting the scorching summer months, the cooler air on this side might be exactly what you're looking for. La Palma is not your standard holiday island. If you want white sand beaches, all-inclusive resorts and nightlife, you're in the wrong place. Go to Tenerife. This place is for the restless. It's for people who enjoy driving second gear hairpin turns, who want to walk on fresh lava. It's steep, it's raw, and it feels significantly wilder than its neighbours. It's not an island you relax on, it's an island you conquer. Next up, I'm heading to the smallest, furthest and strangest Canary island of them all, El Hierro. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Cheers, see you soon.